Are further troop drawdowns in Europe likely? And are you satisfied with the progress that NATO allies have
Well,
made?
we're going to see. I was very disappointed with NATO. And frankly, if it weren't held in Turkey, where my friend happens to be a very strong leader, a very strong person, it's possible that I wouldn't have attended. I felt I had to attend because of the fact that, I know he's gone all out. It was a big thing to have NATO come to Turkey or any place else. It's a big thing.
So here we can see Donald Trump explaining the reasons why he even made it to this NATO summit. He is expressing that the reason why he is in Ankara, Turkey, or attending this NATO summit is because of his personal relationship with Erdogan. So, in his opinion, he is attending the summit in honor of a very good friend who is president of Turkey and who had invited him and requested that Donald Trump be present. And again, the only reason why Donald Trump might not have wanted to, or one of the many reasons why he might not have wanted to attend this NATO summit was because, again, I think Donald Trump has been one of those who have called NATO irrelevant or outdated. He does not believe that NATO is a relevant organization. He has presented a lot of arguments against NATO's existence. He has kind of questioned why NATO continues to exist. He considers NATO and the European allies as weak, sometimes incompetent. He said that very clearly, and it's no news even to NATO that Donald Trump isn't a fan, and they've been conversations about whether or not the United States under Donald Trump would walk away from NATO and what that would do if the United States had to withdraw their membership from NATO. To continue, Donald Trump would go further to explain why he continues to be frustrated with NATO European allies.
But we weren't treated well because we did something in Iran. We don't need anybody's help. I didn't even want their help. But before I asked, they said they wouldn't be there. And we've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others, Canada, etc., but to protect people, countries from, generally speaking, it used to be the Soviet Union, now it's Russia.
So, just to be clear, Donald Trump has been one of those who have he's been very consistent on this message that for reasons that he cannot explain, it seems that the United States has carried a significant financial cost of NATO. America is spending more than their NATO allies. They are also playing a leadership role in NATO. And recently, when the United States and Israel attacked Iran, and the Strait of Hormuz was blockaded by Iran, the United States did call on NATO allies, France, Spain, Germany, Britain. They call on them for assistance. Now he says he didn't need them. He was just, I guess, testing to see how dependable, how reliable NATO can be, and their refusal to come to his aid. They refused to join in the war. He called all NATO states refused to join in. They refused to help open the Strait of Hormuz after Iran had shot it down. France would not join. Britain would not join. Germany would not join. So kind of left Trump isolated and holding the bag for Iran. Usually America goes out like they did in Iraq and in Afghanistan, of course, convince their NATO allies to join them in the war, and they would all go and fight. America will lead, of course, but they would all take the responsibility. Victory, of course, would be an American victory, and the NATO allies and anyone who joins is secondary, right? So this time around, United States did decide to attack Iran, did not consult their NATO allies, did not solicit help at the onset of the war. Of course, assuming that it was just going to be a short war, within the weekend, within the week, they would decapitate the leadership, they would kill um, 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 senior military leaders. The Iranian people would, rise up in arms. They would overthrow the government, and that would be done in a few days. However, when this war got prolonged, weeks and turning into months, and Iran decided to close the Strait of Hormuz, America now turned around and started pleading. I would say plead and beg. It doesn't. Donald Trump doesn't seem like he was pleading and begging, but I get a feeling that is what he was doing, pleading and begging on these NATO allies to join in their operation in Iran, which they all denied. So, of course, Donald Trump is very angry about that, angry that the NATO states did not join them in their intervention or operations in Iran. So Donald Trump continues to explain why he remains frustrated with his NATO allies.
And I say that's fine, but you would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us, and they really weren't. In the case of the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister, I guess he's no longer there, maybe because of this. It was a very unpopular thing he did. He said, "No, we'll help after the war is over." I said, "I don't need that kind of help." We didn't need any help at all. And in a way, I was testing people. I was testing to see whether or not they'd be there, because I've long said that we helped them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
Trump is obviously clearly upset with their NATO allies, and especially there are a few key NATO ally members: United States, Germany, Italy, France, UK, Spain, and Donald Trump was clearly upset that this big five NATO members would not come to their rescue or would not come to support them during their war with Iran. Um the United Kingdom, for example, Keir Starmer, who is no longer a Prime Minister of UK, uh, told Donald Trump that they could only join or support the United States after the war. I think President Macron of France also made the similar comment, saying that they could come to support the cleanup, the mining, and things like that. So we would only get involved after the war. They claimed it was America's war, so America had to deal with it, clean up their mess. Same thing, Italy too, uh, who is obviously a NATO ally, a NATO member, and a strong friend to the United States, also declined from joining the war. So we can clearly see that despite the show of unity on stage and in public, behind the scene, there are significant disagreements amongst these members. Again, in terms of military spending, are these countries viable enough to spend 5% of their gross domestic product on defense? Do they have that kind of money with the global, uh, I would say, depression that is coming? Do they have that kind of money? Why would they commit 5% of their gross domestic product on defense. Who are they? Who are they defending themselves from? The Soviet Union I mean, ended several years ago. Russia is there, no doubt, but Russia hasn't really made any any significant steps to indicate that they would ever attack a NATO state. And of course, one of the reasons they cited for their operations in Ukraine was because Ukraine was insisting that he was going to join NATO. So this NATO expansion is something that that a lot of people have criticized and continue to criticize. And again, like I said, they come out and they show unity and strength, but again, behind the scene, these members are divided. America continues to think that they are carrying a significant amount of the financial costs for NATO, paying for European protection, which to them, which to of course to America is unfair, because again, this is money that they can use to improve healthcare, medical conditions, deal with the addictions and the dilapidating infrastructures in the US, right? But they are spending this money on European security. So Donald Trump isn't exactly happy. So continues to call on the European allies to kind of step up, spend more money. But in effect, man, these states do not have that kind of money. Um, with the sanctions that they put on Russia, which of course backfired and affected them. Take Germany, for example, dishing cheap Russian oil that supported uh, their industries and buying more expensive LNG from the United States. Again, this dynamics, this extra cost has depleted the German economy,